Hi there, welcome to Transcona Trailer Sales. Today I'm going to be walking you through your 2015 Forest River Clipper 17BH. We are just going to start off at the back of the unit here. If you notice, this is where we house your spare tire. You just got to pull this cover off. There'll be two nuts holding that on, and that'll get you to get that off. Located in the back bumper here, you do just have this little pin. Pull this cotter pin down below and pull this out, and it allows you to slide that cover off, and it'll give you access to 20-foot sewer hose. Once fully extended, it is about 20 feet long. Just take a note of those two ears there. This is going to be the same two ears that hook up to your sewer system. We just hose this in the back bumper here just to try and keep the smell out of the unit as much as possible. In this corner, as well as all four corners of the unit, you do have stabilizer jacks. The way those work is you're going to take the tool that's located in the front compartment, hook it up to this nut. You're going to run this foot down to the ground. Once that foot reaches the ground, you are just going to give it another 1/8 quarter turn just to snug it up. And that's just going to take in your bouncers, any bouncer sway you see we have in the unit right now away. A little bit further to the left, you do have your sewer outlet. The way that works is you're going to twist that off. You're going to screw your sewer hose on, and then you got your black and your gray tank. You're always going to want to empty your black tank first, as it's going to be your dirtiest water filled from your toilets. And then you can come behind that with your gray valve, which is typically a little bit cleaner water, which is filled from your sinks and your showers, just to try and keep that hose that little bit cleaner. Located right on the wall here, you do have your standard 30 amp plug end. We do also include a 15 amp park adapter in case your campsite doesn't have 30 amp service, but most campsites do. Or let's say you have the unit at home and you want to run the fridge on the driveway, we do include that 15 amp adapter. Just keep in mind you're going down to 15 amps of power, so you won't be wanting to run anything like your air conditioner. That just plugs right on in, and you can close that cover down. You got cable satellite inlets. You do have your little hot water service port. Whenever you first get to your campsite, you're just going to take this pressure relief valve and give it a pull. You should see a shot of water coming out of there. That's just going to let you know that the tank is full and ready to fire. There is no shot of water coming out of this one because we have drained the tank for the customer, so it wouldn't be safe to fire up right now. Once we get inside, I am going to go over a reset procedure. The button I'm going to refer to is just right here. There's also an 1 1/8" drain bolt down below. That would be to drain your tank. Right down below here, you got these 3 spouts. One's going to be for your fresh tank, and these other 2 are low point drains. The way those work is you're going to take this cap like so. This one's going to be for the fresh water. These 2 are going to be for the low points. Once you take these caps off, it is just going to drain all the water that's inside those 2 lines. The red one being your hot line and the blue one being your cold line. And they just thread on like so. This back one is for your fresh tank. Inside this front compartment here is where you're going to keep, we do have a wheel for your front tongue jack. You got a tool for a drill attachment for your jacks. You do also have a manual hand one. You got your city water connection right here. The way that works is if you're at a site with service, you can thread a garden hose into that port. Turn on your garden hose. It's going to pressurize all your lines without the need to run your water pump. And then you do have your fresh tank fill. You're sticking a garden hose in there, turning that hose on. It's just going to fill your fresh water tank. Once you see water starting to spill back out and backflow, that's just letting you know that the tank is full. Around in front of the unit, inside this black box is going to be your battery. And then right up front, you do have a standard 20-pound propane tank. Turning that on, it's just as simple as opening that valve all the way. It's going to open up the flow of propane to the unit. And then you do have your front tongue jack right in front of that. One way is up, the other way is down. In the front here, you will notice you do have a nice little window covering for the bed up at the front. You can also hold that open just by tightening those little wing nuts a little bit, and that's going to allow it to stay open. Loosening them off will then allow you to close that up again, locking those down. Around this side, you do just have some more storage. Inside here, This is going to be for your awning, which I'm going to show you for a second. All you're going to do is you're going to take this to pull that little notch, pull that down, making sure that you unlock your arms, front and rear. And then you can take your little tool, hook that strap, start pulling down. That awning's going to start making its way out. That, you're going to know that awning's fully extended when you see the back of the middle scoop and that little flap hanging down, which is right here. Then you can take the arms, unclip them from the side of the trailer, and adjust them to your height preference. Doing that does just, you're just doing that with this lever here. You just pull that, slide that up. It's going to allow you to adjust height. Then to get that to go back in. You are just going to flick this lever up, making sure that you are holding the straps, because the minute you do flick this lever up, the awning is going to start retracting itself. And then it's back in, and then just before you travel, you do just want to make sure that those are locked back into place so that doesn't go anywhere whenever you're driving. You got 2 fridge service ports, not much you're going to have to worry about there. You do have your 110, 2 110 plugins. You do have your range hood vent flap. You're just sliding that knob over, and it's going to allow you to open up that flap. And then whenever you are traveling, you're just closing that flap. It's not allowing any excess dust to get inside. And then you do have your furnace exhaust right here. Just being mindful of that whenever your furnace is running. It is going to be blowing out hot air. To get inside, you're just taking that assist handle, pushing it up, holding it 90 degrees, it'll lock into place. Take your step, just giving it a pull, and it'll make it go out. Take your handle, open it up. Once you get inside, right on your right, down on the floor there, it's just your fire extinguisher. It's going to be just like home. Pull the pin and shoot. All the lights inside this unit just are on their own center push buttons. They can all be turned on individually. Up on the wall here is kind of where most of your controls are. You do have your thermostat. This is going to be for your heater. Turning that all the way to warmer is going to turn that furnace on. And then just sliding it all. This is going to be your coolest temperature, and that's going to be your warmest temperature. And then just once you hear that click, that is just turning it off. You got your monitor panel on the top here. You got your battery, which goes low, fair, good, and C is charging. We're currently plugged in, so it's C for charging. Then you got your gray, your black, and your fresh. And then you do have your water heater button down below here. And your water pump switch is also up here. Turning that on to turn your water pump on, which draws from your fresh tank. And then you got your water heater button. Hitting that button, this little light is going to come on. The water heater is going to try lighting itself 3 times. If on the 3rd try it doesn't light, this light's going to stay on. At that point, you do just have to turn this switch off. Go hit that reset button that I showed you earlier inside the panel, and then come back inside and try and relight it. And then you do also have your main GFI plug right on the wall here. That's going to work pretty simple. You got test on the bottom, reset up top. If you ever have an outlet that doesn't work, that'd be the first place I'd check. Then you do have a little 12-volt plug-in, as well as a coax plug-in, and then pushing that little black button does turn on the antenna on the roof, which also improves your radio frequency. In the bedroom area, all the blinds do work the same way. They just kind of sit where you leave them. You got your TV on the wall here, some storage up above. On this wall here is just the fire exit. That works pretty simple. You're just going to take this screen, pull it out, grab your handle, unclip it, push it, and it'll allow you to hop out of the unit. In your dinette area, this table does fold down into a couch. You're just having to fold those legs in, sit that tabletop on that inner ledge there. You take your back cushions to fill in the center, and then you do have your radio, which is pretty much just like home, minus the fact of you having the exterior speakers. Now that does work a little different than the other units. You're just going to turn that radio on, hit that volume button, turn it over to, hit it twice to go to fade, turning it all the way to the front speakers is going to put all the sound to the exterior speakers. Turning that knob back to 0 will play it on both evenly, and then putting it all the way to the rear speakers is going to be your inside speakers, and anything between there is going to be split. And then just the power button to turn that off. Again, another light inside here. Inside the kitchen area, you do have your Dometic fridge. That works pretty simple. You do have the controls right on the panel here. You're just pushing that button on. Whenever this button is flush, it's going to be on auto, so it's going to first search for shore power. Once shore power is taken away, it'll switch over to gas. Depressing that button will let it solely run on gas. If this check light were to ever come on, that would be just telling you that it wasn't able to fire on gas for whatever reason. Opening up inside, you do have a little freezer compartment, as well as the fridge down below, and this little white slider here. The further you push this up on that pin, the cooler the fridge is going to get. You got your sink with hot and cold water. You do have your range hood, which I always recommend running whenever you're running this stove, because the stove does run off propane, which puts off fumes. To get it to light, you are just turning that over to light and hitting it with the lighter, and it lights right on up. Underneath here, just some storage. I'll also mention underneath this front bed, you can just grab this handle, pull it up, and you're going to see a little box in this back corner here. You are able to just slide this box over, and that gives you access to your water pump for winterization. And then to get access to your water heater bypass valves, you are just taking the cushions off this one bench seat here. You got one screw that you have to undo, and it'll allow you to pick up that piece of board, and it'll give you access to your water heater. Whenever you are running your furnace, it is going to be putting all its air out of this portal here. Just being mindful of that. You could get a fan to try and move the air around a little bit if you would want to do so. And then you do have the bathroom with your toilet and your shower. And then all the vents in this unit do just open by twisting this knob and turning this switch, and it'll turn that fan on, evacuating the air from the unit. And then just always making sure you lock that down. We do sell Max Air vent covers. I do recommend going with those, and you can run this fan even when it's raining and not get dripped on. You got your bunk beds in the back here. There's underneath. Slide this table out of the way. You do have your breaker panel and your fuse panel. Whenever a breaker trips, it's going to sit in the middle, so you do just have to turn it off and then back on again to reset it. And then you do have all your fuses on the left there. This unit does use propane for its furnace and its stove. We do have an LP detector. It's located right here. If that guy ever starts going off, you are just going to want to turn off the main supply of propane at the front of the unit and just open up some windows so you can ventilate it out. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call.